Welcome back to the Who's Yanks. Be a new other Who's Yanks. We're talking Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Today, yes, I know this video is obviously a day late, an entire, maybe even 2 days late, you can argue. But we're going to be talking about the final game of the series between Canada and Australia. The Matildas and La Rouge, where La Rouge do get the sweep 2-1, I should say, over the Matildas. It was a great matchup. And this time, Australia really dug their heels in and tried and gave it all they got. But Canada was just too strong in this game. And by way of Adriana Leon, what can I say? And that's what we're going to be talking about this video. Leon the Lion. That's her new nickname I'm going to give her. Leon the Lion. And she terrorized Australia last game. She scored and ended up being the game-winning goal, 1-0. And she does it again. It's 2-0 this time over Australia. And it's Leon the Lion, Leon the Lioness, I should say. But yeah, what a game this was, and the stats will even show you that it was fairly close, and it was a battle. And this is what Canada really wants to see. We want to see Canada get tested. We want to see the offense really get tested and really find a way to create chances and break the Matilda defense down, which the midfield did really well. I should say, and the offense then did end up creating some track. They didn't necessarily create a ton of attacking chances, but when they did, they were lethal and deadly. And we're going to get to that after we go over the lineup, the stats, and the goals that were scored in this game. So, yeah, let's start with not the stats. Let's start with the lineup that was played during the game. It was Christine Sinclair, Sheridan, who was in net, Colleen Sheridan, Celine Zadorsky, Jordan Heidema, Scott, Prince, Fleming, Leon, who, by the way, the scorer, Rose, St. George's, and Lavasseur. Also, we should mention that in terms of international all-time appearances, Christine Sinclair is in second place and is surrounded by a whole lot of U.S. women's national team players, such as Lily, Lloyd, Pierce, Ham, and Foudy. But look at Christine Sinclair in there. She's going for that number one spot. She wants it, and I believe she's going to break that number one spot if she can keep going. And hopefully, I believe she still got I don't know, we got to see how much she's got in her, a little bit more. But right now, she is on pace to break that and really get that number one spot in terms of all-time international appearances. But now let's go to our goals of the match. So we have, in the third minute, it was Australia. They came out firing right away. And you can tell that they were hungry and they wanted to get revenge for what happened last game. And Courtney Vines for Australia gives it to Sam Kerr, who hands it off in the box and cuts it inside to Mary Fowler, who scores past Sheridan. And there's nothing Sheridan can do about that. That was just a good placement from Mary Fowler. And it's 1-0 already to the Matildas. But let's just tip our hat to Australia for this one. The Matildas had a great play, a great build-up from Australia. And Canada they just caught Canada just out of place, and they capitalized right away. And it was a dream start for Australia, and Canada early on was just already down. So let's see how Canada and the Canadians will respond. And spoiler alert, they do respond via Leon. But how about Australia throughout the whole first half, as well as even the entire game, just putting and keeping that pressure on Canada? And the Canadian defense, for the most part, they bent but didn't break. I know that one goal, yes, they had one goal, but for the most part, they bent but didn't break, which was good. That was good. That was a good test. These two games were a great test for Canada. It was definitely a check to make sure that, they could get it done and make sure they can still match up against the top teams in the world. So, yeah, let's see what they can do. Hopefully, come World Cup time. Also, this was another game in Australia, on Australian soil, against Australia or an opponent quality like Australia, which was going to be what Canada will experience in the World Cup. So, yeah, this was a great test, and it looks like Canada got rewarded for it. But let's keep talking about these goals before we get into what we're supposed to be talking about after we cover everything. But got to get a little sidetracked there. But in the 48th minute, it's Christine Sinclair. So immediately after the halftime break, it's Christine Sinclair puts in the first cross. It gets blocked. But the second rebounded cross is successful, and it's successfully placed right to Adriana Leon, and she scores once again. against the Matildas for the second game in a row. We are all square now at one apiece. And what a response by Canada immediately after the halftime break. And this was incredible. Just Christine Sinclair refusing to not give up and put the ball in the box, cause havoc. And it's Adriana Leon who just capitalizes and puts the ball past the keeper. And it's a beautifully struck ball too. Nothing the keeper can do about it. But Canada has responded immediately. So whatever Beth Priestman said in that locker room, Canada was fired up and they found a way. So yeah, what a great response from Canada there, and we were all square. And then in the 64th minute, it's Dion Rose with a beautiful counterattack, and she gets the ball and she turns, she starts blitzkrieging through the Australian Matilda midfield, and once she does do that, she lays it off for Adriana Leon once again, who finishes a 1v1 and punches home not just another goal for Canada or herself, but just unbelievable. Just 2-1. Canada has flipped the script just like that. What a response from Canada. And they flipped the table. What can I say? And then throughout the rest of the game, Australia had chances, but they just couldn't put it in the back of the net. Canada just, once again, that defense, just showing why it's supreme and why they are really going to cause and frustrate other teams. Because this Canadian defense is really challenging to break down. And Australia, when they did, that was a good goal, and it's not the good. That's a good thing. There's no fluke goals coming from these defensive breakdowns or anything like that. When there is a goal being conceded, it's just a good goal. But that's the end of the match. It is 2-1 by way of Adriana Leon. Leon, the Lioness. She scores and terrorizes Australia. She did it last game. She does it again. And without a doubt, she helps Canada sweep Australia in this little series. So, with that, let's go to our stats. So, it was 10 shots to 5 in favor of Australia, 4 shots to 5 on target for Canada. Look at that. Look at how deadly Canada was, or look at how accurate it was. While 4 of the shots out of the 10 for Australia were on target. Canada had a perfect 100%. So, it was just like me when I play FIFA, or anyone else who plays FIFA, you play against. They don't shoot unless they know it's going to go on target, or they know that it's going to be a good shot. That's what Canada did. There's 5 on target, 5 shots in general, 5 of 5. That's a great. You always want it if you can. Whenever you take a shot, make sure it's always on frame, and they did exactly that. Australia had slightly a little more possession, with 51% to 49% possession. It was fairly equal, back and forth. As I said, both teams had attacking opportunities, but more so Australia had a lot more shots, but Canada just being more lethal. 441 passes completed to 427 passes completed. 79% pass accuracy to 77% pass accuracy. 9 fouls to 8. 1 yellow card for Australia, while none to Canada. No red cards were handed in this match. 5 offsides to 3 offsides for Australia and Canada. And 2 corners to 3 for Australia and Canada. And yeah, just what a game this was. And it was just back and forth. As I said, Canada really not looking to shoot unless they were for sure that shot was going to be on target, which was smart play from Canada, and it paid off. I mean, they got 2 goals out of it, and they forced 3 brilliant saves from the Australian keeper, and really good game. But credit Australia too for giving Canada a great match, and we knew these 2 teams were going to duke it out, and we're going to really give a good match. So this was really great to see, and really great test, as I said earlier on in the video, for Canada. You're playing on Australian soil. You're playing against a quality opponent like Australia. And most importantly, this is where the World Cup will be held. So this is preparation. And most importantly, they got all things done. They got the experience. And thank goodness, because the only downside for me and for anyone living in the Eastern time zone, those early morning or early late night games weren't it. I could not afford to stay up for that. I mean, I need my sleep. So, unfortunately, hopefully there are no more late videos from them. But they were, nonetheless, looking at the highlights. They were very enjoyable. And just looking at the games in general, both teams were tested. And I think both teams benefited a lot out of this. I know Australia would have liked to take away a win, at least, out of this series. But Canada did learn, I would say, a lot, even especially with that goal that they gave up early on. And They made the halftime adjustments. As I said, Beth Priestman did something in that locker room to fire up the Canadians, and they scored immediately. So whatever Beth Priestman said, Canada responded, and they did really well. So that was really, really brilliant from Beth Priestman and the Canadians. A great training camp, great, real friendly matchups there from Canada. And other than that, I'd say, yeah, I think coming into the series, I had three areas I want to look at. The defense, which, as I said, the defense was stout for the most part. Yes, they allowed one goal, but that one goal was just a great play from Australia, to say the least. That defense overall was really, really stout, and they really, really showed why that Canadian defense is supreme and really hard to break down. The midfield overall was really good, I would say. Canada really showed their, especially in the midfield and defense, and even overall in the attack, which I'll talk about too. That was also really good. They just showed their dominant colors, and they just showed why they are gold medalists, and showed why Canada is one of the best teams in the world to play against. And sure, there's still a lot to work on. There's still a lot to clean up, but is overall, was this really a good sighting, a really good performance? Yes. The defense was good. The midfield orchestrated the attack and the offense, especially in the second game, put away the chances, especially Adriana Leon, the Lioness. She got it done for Canada. And by way of assist through Sinclair and others, they got it done. And Canada secured a total of 6 points throughout the series. So, as I said, I know Australia would have been looking to win, but Canada nonetheless shows their supreme colors. And that's what it's all about, and that's what Canada had to do. And surely, I believe they sent a message to the world saying, yes, don't forget, we may be going from old to new, we may be inviting new players up, but we are still going to be a really good team to play against. And you're going to find out. And I believe they did exactly that. Both games, but overall, that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. And the overall series wrap up. Adriana Leon getting it done. Leon, the Lioness. She terrorizes Australia for 2 straight games in a row. Gets all 3 goals for Canada in the bag. And, yeah, by way of, as I said, by way of her teammates helping her, they get the win. They get 6 points. And really, really good training camp for Canada overall. But that's all I got to say for this video. If you want to watch the U.S. reaction to, I'm doing a reaction to that in Nigeria, that'll be right after this video. And that's also going to be the late video. Got a lot of things going on. We got university starting back up another year. We got work coming as well. We've got a lot of stuff on our plate, but just looking forward to the World Cup. We gotta hope those videos should be hopefully really good. So if you're really looking for the Men's World Cup this year, stay tuned for that. But for that video, if you like it, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Also, maybe hit the bell notification that we know when late videos or any videos like these are posted. And tell your friends, Leon the Lioness terrorizes Australia.